As the eldest of a family of 6 children, I would be expected to be responsible. Well, as my mother so often said, I did not have a responsible bone in my body. My father worked for the forestry services. My mother stayed at home to care for the children, as was the norm those days. My young life was carefree, happy, and very mad. When I was 12 years old, I got a bicycle from an aunt. It was a small 24-inch wheel bicycle. But oh, the wonder of that machine. It took me exactly 1 week to discover all the exciting things you could do with the bicycle. Well, that is besides simply riding it on the roads. On top of walls, over hedges and obstacles were the greatest fun or adventure. Each obstacle overcome was an achievement and notch on my belt. The bicycle was always breaking, not from the road of course, so I collected old bicycles to use for spare parts for the repairs. Once for a bet of £0.50, I rode my bicycle backwards on top of the wall of the bridge in Innisteag. My mother, who at the time was walking down the hill to the village, nearly had a heart attack. She ran into a house on the hill screaming, "He will be killed." She could not look in case she could see me toppling off the wall into the river, and of course I could not swim. Around the same time, a cousin of my father took me with him one day to a farm to see a new binder and tractor. Machinery always fascinated me. Everything was fine until lunchtime, when everyone was occupied with eating. It was my opportunity to get a closer look at the machinery. So I hopped up in the tractor to study how it worked, and not knowing what I was doing, I released the brake. Of course, I had not noticed that the tractor was stopped on a hill. So the binder and tractor gained speed as it careered down the hill, and not knowing what to do, I just jumped off. The tractor rolled over the ditch and into the road, and the binder went over the tractor, across the road and into the field at the other side of the road. My father nearly killed me, but I never meant any harm. I just did not seem to see the danger, and I was definitely accident prone. When I was 18, I was working for a timber yard in Innisteag. One day I was driving a tractor with a winch on front down from Woodstock, through the village, and of course the height of the winch or the fact that I should have checked that everything was in order before starting my journey were not the most pressing things on my mind. The winch was too high, and at the top of High Street I caught an electric wire and pulled a chimney off a house. In those days the electric wire was connected to the chimneys of some houses. I did not know anything was wrong until I heard the bang and saw the sparks and the chimney landing behind me. The village did not have electricity that night, and a house did not have a chimney. Though I lived by the river, I could not swim, but that did not stop me net fishing with the men in cots. Crew fishing was one of the most common types of fishing in Innisteag. It involved men in 2 cots, with 2 men paddling and 2 men on the nets. Of course I fell out of the cot and into the river one night, but fortunately I got caught in the nets and pulled myself back into the boat. I went to France in 1962 and worked with a vet assisting him by holding the animals when needed, and later I worked on a stud farm. I did not kill anyone or any animals while I was there. I stayed only a year, as I did not like France. In 1963, I joined with a group of friends and we formed a Ceilidh band called the Northside Ceilidh Band. I played the drums and I loved every minute of it. That started a time of carefree nights and great crack. It fully occupied my time. We practiced practically every night of the week and played every weekend in halls, pubs and hotels in Kilkenny and the surrounding counties. There were 7 of us in the band, 6 men and 1 girl. We often finished playing at 2 a.m. and then packed up, and it would take us an hour or 2 to get home. But however late it was, we would always go to work the next day. It would have been completely unheard of for any of us to take a day off work. Some Saturday nights we would go to a friend's house late after playing in a pub and have tea, bread and pig's feet. Unlike today, the parents of the house would always be there. I came to work in the Abbey Joinery in Gorin in 1971 and met Peggy. We were married in 1972 and were blessed with 2 children. I worked for Dick Farrell for a few years driving a lorry, and then I moved to Brannigan's in Kilkenny, where I spent 30 years working. I am now retired and living in St Mary's Court in Goran. I haven't broken or crashed anything yet, but there are no bicycles, tractors or even ride-on lawnmowers left around here. They don't even leave the tea trolley near me, so you see they're not taking any chances.